Kane, it's 1-0. We're freaking down. 13th in the championship. The takeover happened as I said it would. People will be. Oh, when have we got Leeds? Now then, people, welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show and another edition of The Final Word. We've got regulars, we've got Kev, who's back for his second appearance, and of course we've got, I would argue, Leeds United content creation, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for, original, and also YouTube whore, because he's just come from one Leeds as well, Mr. Oscar Maria. Oscar, it's great to see you, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good, mate. I'm good. I think it's the first time I've come on with my furry mic.
Yeah, I like it, mate. It's good. The sound quality is epic.
John Motson vibes, isn't it? It's yeah, no, doing good, mate. I'm feeling good. I think we've been speaking on WhatsApp. I think we're both feeling the same vibes. We're both winding up Locks, the Leicester fan, that we're going to chase Leicester. We're going to catch Leicester. It's on. But yeah, I'm feeling good, mate. I'm feeling positive and. Yeah, can't wait for the next game, to be honest with you, mate. It feels good to have that energy again. You know, it's been so long since we've had that. So, yeah, mate, I'm doing good.
Yeah, good. It's good, mate. As I say, I was tuned in for a bit of it, and, you know, you might hear Oscar repeat himself tonight, but I dropped him a message, and, he's jumped
I do
on.
that all the time
said,
anyway, mate.
Yeah. Vic says royalty. That's it, YouTube royalty. Evie, you're back with us. You was at the game last night, Evie, and I said to you, because you said you hadn't been in a while, and I said if we do lose, it will be down to you and your band from Ellen Road. But we won. So how was it for you, Evie? Good?
Yeah, it was good. It was weird. The atmosphere felt very tense most of the night. It was quite quiet. We were in the upper east, and the North Stand was really trying to get everything going, and there was like ripples of it, but it was quite a tense game. So I think the crowd kind of fed off the I don't know, as soon as we scored, we immediately sat back, and so the atmosphere did the same. But I was there with my daughter, and there was some very choice words coming out. So every time I was shouting at the ref, I was covering her ears, and she just rolls her eyes at me, and because she knows that football and driving are the only times that I really swear. So she knows the phrase now. What's heard at football stays at football. So she's fine.
It's probably the best. Yeah, to be fair. Kev, you're back again, mate. How are you doing, my man?
I'm all right, mate. Yeah, good. I was happy with last night. It was a bit tense, like Evie just said, but yeah, really good. Happy to be back on the show.
Yeah, happy to have you back as well. And Jay's just come from fixing someone's pipes, and that's not a euphemism, by the way. Someone actually did have a pipe burst, but he's with us. Jay, are you good?
It's actually more breaking someone's pipes, mate, and that's again not a euphemism. But basically, in true Jay fashion, I went there to help. And I was fitting a, like a dishwasher tap thing, because the one that was on it didn't have the tap bit to open it anymore. So I took the old one off, put a new one on. This pipe was totally unsupported, just like through the back of a cupboard. So you tighten this bolt and it's going all over the place. At some point it cracked, and when we turned water back on, it went. Yeah, so
you went to fix it and you broke it, Jay. Basically, that's what you said. You went to fix it and you broke it. Nice.
So I needed to leave for a little bit because she's not in a great mood. So I'll go back and try and fix it all after.
Maybe just don't go back, mate. That's
probably safer, but I can't leave her like that.
No, yeah, love that. Right, well, let's get stuck straight into it. Listen, Norwich in the lead up to it hit some really good form. Had drew with Southampton, beat West Brom. They beat Hull City as well. Also undefeated in 2024. They have some great players within that setup as well. Not all of them showed up last night, but there were some key performances in there. I thought Nunes was really good for them. Kenny McLean ran the show for periods, in the second half, especially for a little bit. I think we were right to be a little bit apprehensive going into it, because it's like whenever a big team comes now to Ellen Road, it'll be like, oh, someone's always got to go kind of vibe. Will tonight be the night that we lose? Do you know what I mean? So there was a lot of apprehension going into it, but Leeds over the course of 90 minutes, were for me the better side and controlled it. Oscar, what were your Your thoughts on the game? Were you at the game? I assume you were. You'd have been working, I assume, or
I wasn't actually. Wasn't at the game.
wow.
I could not get
Fair
out of
night
work
off.
on yesterday. So yeah, it was. I watched it on a totally legal stream. Is why I watched it. Totally legal. But yeah, no. Listen, it wasn't like our vintage Leeds. You know, we played better this season, but I thought we were the better team. I thought we were better than what we were against Preston and Norwich. To be fair to them, I think one of the better teams I've seen. At Ellen Road this season, and we've got good players. You look at people like Johnny Rowe. He's a player that get into most teams at this level. Obviously, Sarah's another obvious one as well. So, job done. I never really felt like we weren't not going to win the game. As soon as we went 1-0 up, I thought we looked pretty comfortable. Yes, they had a few chances, but they're always going to have chances. It's a championship. It's the reality of it. But we had chances as well. So, yeah, good performance. And defensively, I'm just so impressed by this Leeds team. I think it's gone under the radar how good, as much as, Somerville and Rutter have lit up Ellen Road this season, I think the defence has really gone under the radar. And the fact that, Pascal's not been available and we still look as solid as we do, sums it up really for me. And yeah, it's just such a difference from last season and probably the start of this season as well. The improvement is just phenomenal, really.
Yeah, I just even think as well, having Gruyev, Ampadu and Rodon at times in a 3 when they're building up from it just looks nice. And then that makes me think, is that why we're looking at Godfrey? And then does Gray come out? I don't know. We'll get on to transfers in a little bit. But yeah, I agree with Oscar in the sense of, for me, I felt Norwich in the second half, although they didn't have many touches in our opposition box, I think it was like 4 touches, and I know they didn't have many shots. But I felt, for me, Kev, I'll come to you. Norwich did what we normally do when we struggled to break down a low block. When they had that possession and it's left to right and we're going, come on, you need to create something. It almost felt like that's what Norwich were doing. And there was a period where they totally dominated. I don't think we touched the ball for about 15 minutes, Kevin, in that second half.
I think from the 55th minute, that's when I was cacking my pants, really. The way they were playing the ball around, and you mentioned him, Kenny McLean. I could see why we were interested in him at the start of the year, because I've not really seen him that much. And he ran the show. He was bringing the ball out from defence, running through the middle of the pitch. He was fantastic, and you can see why we wanted him, because he would fit our style of football. But they basically, honestly, like you said, we didn't touch the ball for ages. And that's when my heart started going. It took me ages to get over that game last night. I know we won. And defensively, we were really strong. But they did pass the ball around really well. And I don't think a team has ever done that to us this season. Not Leicester, not Ipswich. And I thought they were a good side last night, Norwich.
Yeah. No, I agree. And like you say, Sarah missed that opportunity, Evie, right at the depth in the first half, heart in mouth, because he should score there, shouldn't he? So, outside of that, they didn't create a lot, but I still agree with what's been said already, Evie, that for me, they were one of the better teams that we've played this season.
Yeah, they certainly had a lot of possession, but I agree with what you said in the terms of possession without a purpose. Though, they didn't do much with it. They looked intimidating for maybe 5 minutes in the first half and a good 10-15 minutes in the second half, where it was just, I don't know, it was scary seeing people in our half and we didn't have the ball and we were allowing it. It's something that we've not been very comfortable with or good at for the last 2 years, so it was quite foreign watching it and thinking, we've managed another wave without them having a shot, and it was just wave after wave, but they weren't doing anything with it. But I was still terrified because, and I think it's going to take a long time for us all to kind of be relaxed, that we can defend and that the unit want to protect one another as well. They were all covering for one another, and there was some dirty fouls. The ref, it was another game that had Norwich gone to the ends that Preston had, it had been another game that the ref would have lost control of, because he was letting fouls just go and go for both sides. It wasn't even, that it was all in Norwich's favour. He was letting fouls go, that I was like, oh my God, they've just got a free kick on the edge of the box. Oh no, he's not giving it. Just a load of decisions. But they're we would be frustrated if that was us, because they had some good chance, or the option to have good chances, and then they didn't do it, and that should have been the equaliser on half time. It really should. It was like just inches away, and that's the kind of shot that we've seen, Jorginho do a lot and Bamford do and things. So we know that feeling ourselves of thinking, oh my God, is this it? Oh no, he's managed to somehow miss that. I think it was more difficult for him to miss it, in all honesty. So but they didn't do a lot with it. I felt a lot more cocky after the final whistle had gone, but it wasn't comfortable, I've got to say.
Are you cocky enough yet to say top 2 by next Friday?
I'm not you, Joe. No, but I'll say it in hushed tones, kind of thing. This is the first time we've had opportunities throughout the season where we could have gone ahead by winning our game.
Yes.
That we play first, and we haven't done it. Like, I don't think we've done it any of the times that we've had the opportunity to. So for me, from my limited memory, I think this is the first time we've done it. It feels different because we play twice before they do, and we could be the one kind of really turning it on them, kind of thing, that they have to come and perform. I'd rather have points on the board than games in hand, because we saw that a lot, the last couple of seasons where we've had, games in hand on people, and then we don't do anything with those games in hand. So I'd just rather have the points, and I'm not saying it because I feel if I say it, I'll jinx it and then I'll be devastated. Yeah. So I'll just allow you to look like a fool if we're not.
I did say, I was talking to Andrea and that. I said, when you actually think about it, next Friday, right, we could be sat second in the table and in the 5th round of the FA Cup, man. This is the new look Leeds United. You know what I mean? Jay, talk about defenders. We'll defensively, we were great. Obviously, Rodon Imperious, like it reminds me so much in a sense of a bit like Pontus Jansson. He'll just head anything that comes his way. Do you know what I mean? The only difference with him, I think, when he's riling up players, or it's not for sure, he's actually doing it because it's got purpose behind it. Do you know what I mean? I think at one point Dan James was on the deck and he's telling him to get up, even though Dan James is in the bin. You know what I mean? Because he's just loves to defend. Junior Firpo, turns out, can defend. I thought he was immense yesterday. And Archie Gray, for me, was just the pick of the bunch. I thought he was phenomenal, Jay. Like, defensively, we were top-notch, weren't we?
I thought so, yeah. And Ampadu, again, just looks class in there. Just looks comfortable. To the point that you would question moving him even when everyone's fit, for me.
Yeah.
Because him and Rodon look amazing together. Like, he just doesn't look fazed by anything. I thought everyone did well. It was weird in that it didn't feel like an amazing team performance, but I don't think anyone played badly.
No.
And the defence were outstanding. That period when they had the ball for about 15 minutes, it felt like. It was just like, I was thinking, God, if we concede here, we might go on to lose this game because, the tide's turned a little bit. But they were just, they stood up to everything and nobody panicked. Nobody did anything crazy. Archie were outstanding. I mean, he were beating people. He were tackling people. There were that one. Did I freeze? Did I freeze?
Yeah, you did, mate.
It's my customary freeze that happens every now and then. That late on Archie, he tracked all the way back and he caught that guy in the area and tackled him. That were amazing. That one of the best tackles I've ever seen in a Leeds shirt.
No. Someone talk to me. Listen. Actually, Eva, I'm going to come back to you, Eva. Because we've had many, many debates.
I knew this was coming.
About Archie Gray playing at right back. You're now okay with him playing there. You concede now, yeah? You concede that I was right.
No. Let's not be revisionist, Joe. Let's not change what my opinion was. I said I didn't mind him at right back, but I prefer him in the middle.
Yeah, of course.
That's all I said. And at the end of the day, he's 17, so he's learning his trade, and he is improving. There is absolutely no doubt about that. He's improving he's kind of already mastered midfield, so he's just adding another string to his bow. So I'm more than happy with that. It makes him incredibly versatile. It makes him like Stuart Dallas, but with insane talent. Kind of thing, as in generational talent. So he's like Stuart Dallas on some sort of steroids kind of thing. He's like the plus version kind of thing. And if we can create them, then not only do Leeds have a good player, but worst case scenario, we have the funding for Leeds for a long time to come
100%.
if that happens. So either way, we win. So I think that's brilliant. And he was fantastic yesterday. He was breathtaking. And there was some weird. At one point, Anthony was at right back, and he was on right up the pitch in the right wing position. It was bizarre just how assured he was in the defense that he felt able to go, completely up. And it was. He didn't really. There were a few long ball moments that always just make me kind of clench because it gives me flashbacks of Jesse Marsh, like the long ball over the top that the goal that he said, oh no, people don't score the same goal against us, and they scored the same goal against us time after
every time.
Exactly. So, but I love I love how solid he was and how he just stood up to it. He's not a boy. He's a man. No. And there's so many Premier League players that could take a leaf out of his book because he doesn't go down unless he's injured. He doesn't, faff around with things. He gets the job done, and he gets it done with a certain amount of elegance and flair as well, which for somebody so young who's not an attacking player is so unusual to see. And it's incredible. It was brilliant to see it like in the flesh as well. Things that you might not see on the screen, little off the ball movements and things that you don't always get to witness if you're just watching it. Sat in your bedroom watching it.
I think you bang on, and Oscar, I'll come to you because Oscar. One thing I've always loved about you, you've always made like comparisons where I'm like, oh, he said it.
But you're doing the huge comparisons every day, mate.
No, but I was going to talk to you about this, right? Because Evie made a good point there. We're now in 2024. I think every football fan understands now that money drives the game. It's nowhere like it was even in the 90s. We understand at some point, if we don't get European football, which looks a hell of a long way away, that Archie will leave. But there is a case to think. I've just had a look. Like, Jude went to Dortmund for 30 million, right? And they were in the Championship with no real aspirations of getting Premier League. He even makes a good point in saying that a player like Archie, if he doesn't stay at Leeds long term, will be a Premier League team, you would hope, by that point. So the sort of money that this kid's going to be able to bring into the football club, I think it is insane in that respect if he doesn't stick around, Oscar. Has he froze? He has, hasn't he?
This is really good.
It looks like he's doing his blue steel.
I genuinely was thinking.
I would not want to go up against him at musical statues. He'll smash us every time.
Do you know, Joe? I was just thinking.
Go on, mate.
On the subject of Gray, do you think there's a chance that because his brother's at the club, that helps us keep him because he'll want to play with him in the first team?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I think that's a big thing.
It's a great point. Yeah. I think it's a great point. Hopefully he'll come back. That's brilliant. I was thinking, he hasn't moved. He's really listening intently to me. That's right. Impressive. And then when
no one ever listens like that.
Exactly. Yeah, it was great. I will save that for when he comes back. But Kev, Archie Gray, actually talk about Firpo because the mad thing is, when the Boost Man of the Match award went up last night, I actually voted for Firpo, even though I felt Gray for me probably was, but I just felt Firpo deserved it. I don't know. I think for the redemption arc Firpo's been on, he's probably the biggest redemption arc this season, and that's over a Dan James, over a Bamford, because we always knew they had something in them. I just believe Firpo had nothing in him. So to see what he's doing in 2024. It's amazing. And even hearing him speak after the game where he was a bit like, oh, yeah, it's been tough for me and the play. I almost felt guilty for griefing him. I can't lie to What are your thoughts,
Got a tear to a glass eye.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
I was talking about Firpo the other day and how he's on this redemption arc at the moment. I said to my partner, my missus, last year, that if the day for Junior Firpo gets good at football, it will be the end of days, because I really didn't rate him at all. And then he's been playing so well. We were watching it last night, and my missus come out with this saying, she went, if you think it's the end of days, then it's a Firpocalypse like that, and I'll just howl him for ages. So he's on his way back. And do you know what? I always thought he's like Zoolander. He can't turn left to look over his shoulder, right? But he's getting better at defending. He seems to pick up a yard of pace as well, like that with the Dan James header the other day. I think it just looks confident. I think it's got to be all down to the manager, isn't it? With especially like Dan James, Firpo, the way they've been trained and coached, and it's a confidence thing. And honestly, if he can keep going, he's going to have a good season. But like I said, he'll probably get injured on the 1st of February, knowing Leeds look. That's what we've both said that, haven't we? So I wouldn't mind some back up there. But yeah, he is doing really well, and I just hope it continues.
Like, for me, I get why, Kev and others are still apprehensive, because they are like, listen, it is just 5 games. I understand that me as a personality just goes, oh, fuck it, he's amazing. Oh, fuck it, we're going to win the league. Do you know what I mean? And that's just who I am as a person. But I understand the apprehension about it, because, like you say, it is actually only just 5 games. But Jay, man, it's been insane, hasn't it, mate, the turnaround. And listen, for those that stuck by him and said he was always have this, fair play, but I never saw it, man.
Yeah, it's come out of the blue a bit, hasn't it? We all hoped for it, but nobody really expected it. And then a couple of games ago, you see him doing little tricks with people and flick-ups and passing to each other with flicks and stuff. And yeah, he just looks like he's enjoying himself finally. I think he's finally settled in, and I don't think anyone could have thrived last season with the culture that we clearly had going on in the dressing room there. I think that's something that Farke's fixed, and we've got that team spirit side of things back, and players like Firpo can go out and enjoy themselves now and can have a good time on the pitch and show us what they can do. And I think he's one that's really benefited from that.
Yeah. No, Evie, it's a great point, isn't it? The camaraderie within the group now looks night and day from last season, and a lot of that has to go down to Farke, and I think Kev touched on it as well. The rebirth of Bamford is in there. The emergence of Dan James into arguably he's probably the best footballer of his career, not just like at Leeds, of his career. And then Firpo's just another string where you have to, for those that are naysayers, I don't think there's many left now, or probably do concede that Farke, is probably right now the best man for the job. But it shows, on the training pitch, he's obviously having an impact, Evie. Yeah,
well, he is. My only reservation is he did have a miniature redemption arc this time last year. So
Southampton, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah,
we exactly. He was on his way back. Yeah.
And I don't want to get overly excited until mid-February and he's still playing football, because him and Bamford have both had, unfortunately, really poorly timed injuries and things. So, and it always happens right after a window has closed as well. So I do hope that it continues, and it is amazing to see. And there's been a lot of talk about Nonto going and things, and he's been at all of the games, even when he's been injured. I saw him on one of the videos. It was
Rutter's video.
No, but it was at the Preston game. He was down the tunnel when Strauch was giving everybody high fives, and he was there as well. So he's there watching. So he's, people are like, oh yeah, he's in London. He's in, going to have a medical.
And Evie, that's a player. That's a player that Farke had said, mate, you're not training with us. And now he's going to games when he doesn't need to, right? And showing up like you've just mentioned.
Yeah. So the sense, it just looked good fun. I know Rutter makes everything look good fun. But the dressing room genuinely just looked like they were all really close, and that they all had each other's backs, both on and off the pitch. And it's just what you need. And I think Ellen Road is still suffering from a lot of PTSD of the last 2 seasons. And I think now as well, we've now got that weight of expectation. I think a lot of people had kind of resigned to being playoffs maximum this season. And now we're not, now there's
Has that changed for you, Evie? Has that changed for you now?
Well, I said that we would get playoffs regardless, and then as the season's gone on, I've thought that we could probably get automatics, but I always try and be cautiously optimistic mainly because I don't want to get my hopes up, because I was devastated. I never thought I would be the type of person that would cry over relegation, and I cried. Like, I was absolutely devastated, even though it was inevitable that, like, it was just, I kind of wish we'd been relegated earlier so that we could all just kind of come to terms with it. But it's the hope that kills you. And technically there was still hope in that last game. I know we needed other things to go our way, but there was still that hope. And I was devastated last season. So now that we've got that weight of expectation, Ellen Road is kind of back to feeling a bit tense again, because we all quietly know that it could happen. And it makes us all nervous. So when you give up so much possession like we did for 15 minutes last night, it made everybody nervous, because we thought, are we about to throw it all away? And as well, having that unbeaten record, I think it's quite, we're the only team in the English footballing league to not be beaten at home this season. So it's a hell of a record to have. And you wouldn't have thought, if you said to us this time last year that we would have that record, nobody would agree, because we just gave goals away for fun last season. So but well done, Firpo, but I'm not ready. I'm ready to give him plaudits, but I'm not ready to say he's in a full redemption arc mode until February.
Cool. We shall see. Oscar, did you get any of my question?
No, mate. I apologise.
It's all right.
Wi-Fi bottled it. You're not built to answer this question, Oscar. Oh,
I love that. But before we look ahead slightly, because we've spoken about the game, Leeds win. I just want to know where everyone's thoughts are in terms of promotion. And Oscar, I'll come to you. I know me and you've spoken off, through WhatsApp and said, Farker is the perfect man you need for the running. And now, although, listen, I do think we go second on next Friday, but they still have 2 games in hand, so that could just flip straight back on its head. But do you think there's a real possibility of top 2, or are you still really concerned about Southampton?
Yeah, I think there's a massive chance of top 2. And I'm worried about Southampton, and Ipswich is still in it. We can't totally rule out Ipswich. They are still currently second, but they will drop points. We will drop points. Everyone will drop points. It's a championship at the end of the day. We will get.
Oh, he's having a nightmare, isn't he? He had none of this on one Leeds.
He's having a worse night than me.
Yeah. I had none of this on one Leeds. He's doing it on purpose. Jay, are we getting top 2?
I'll freeze now. You've come to me after I've said that. I'm still leaning towards playoffs, but I'm hoping that we might get some sort of miracle. It's not over yet.
What's preventing you from taking the leap? What's preventing you?
Southampton winning 20 games on the trot.
Do you think they can win the rest of the games on the trot?
I think it's possible. I think it's unlikely.
Really?
They're gonna slip somewhere. But the main thing is Saints statistics, or whatever it's called, on Twitter, who said we're out of the picture now. So that's that,
Yeah, that was brilliant. That, by the way, that was fucking brilliant. What a guy. Kev, what about you?
I'll be honest. I think we're going to get second. I really do.
Yeah, man.
I think it's going to come down to the last.
Come on, let's go.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to the last game of the season. I think Leeds will be rocking if we beat Southampton and we go up in second place. I don't think we're going to catch Leicester. I'm not going to be that mad, but I think we're going to get second. I just got a feeling. I mean, I'm not like Mystic Meg or anything like that, but I just got a feeling we're going to do it. I really do.
Yeah,
I hope so, mate.
Yeah.
I don't want to go through playoffs. I don't.
The fans that are going, and Leeds fans in general, like, I was lucky enough to go to Millennium Square, but I missed the bus outside Ellen Road. I didn't bother going down because
I were the other way around.
Well, do you know the mad thing is, we were on All Leeds TV and we were told as content creators, so there was us, there was LS11, there was all these content creators that were asked by the trust and by the club to stay away. Please,
that's what you get for being big, you see.
No, we did go, Jay. They said, please push the message. Don't go down. Da, 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 da. And then it happened, and I was like, "You motherfuckers!" Do you know what I mean? I was raging with them, but you know what can you do? But there's the opportunity for that moment, though, isn't there, that we missed out on. You know, Luke Ayling spoke about it at the start of the season, where he said, "I want to be able to share it with the fans." I know he's not here anymore, but there could be a real possibility that happens. And imagine it came down to that last day. Like Oscar said to me, I know he's not here now, but Oscar did say to me, all we need to be is within 2 points of Southampton come the last day. And then boom, you've got a straight shootout. Because my worry is as well, though, I don't know how you feel, but I was speaking about this the other day. If whoever loses on that, say it goes to the final day between Southampton and Leeds, whoever loses that game doesn't go up for me. Because I think it'll be too much of a battle to then get yourselves back up for 2 playoff games and a playoff final. I think just mentally it'd be very, very tough. So yeah, I think that would be quite tough. Looking ahead, Evie, we've got Saturday. We're playing the FA Cup. He's got to make changes because Archie Gray went off, Dan James went off. I don't know if Rodon had a bit of a niggle as well. You know, he's going to make changes anyway, but what it does show us now is we have to move in the market now, Evie, don't we? We have to go and get arguably 3 players. I don't think we will get 3. I'm confident of 2, but we could argue we need another centre-back, a right-back and a left-back, Evie.
Yeah, 100%. I said that we'll get between 2 and 4 players because I'm greedy and I would love to have an out-and-out number 10. As well, because we do need an actual. This is like Rutter's first time at playing 10. We need somebody who can take a shot outside of the box, and so far, pretty much nobody is willing to do that. And we need somebody who can come on, and we need to protect Rutter as well. We don't want to play him into the ground. You know, we also don't want him to get complacent either. You know, that he's guaranteed to start. There has to be competition for every single place. That's how you get the best out of your team, because, you know, look at Bamford, for instance. Like, he always seems to improve when there's somebody else there, whereas when he isn't, he either is injured or he just is not in form. Whereas if there's competition for all places, we need that. And so for me, I think we get a centre back, a left back, or a centre back that can possibly play right back or left back, and then one.
Which is Ben Godfrey, innit? Which is Ben Godfrey, unfortunately. Yeah. That's not going to happen, though, is it? I don't think.
No, well, I don't know. There's still hope. I genuinely do believe that the 49ers know what they're doing, and I'm not willing to be super negative about it. If it comes, you know, end of the day on February the 1st and we haven't got, you know, the correct people in, then, you know, I'll throw down. But until then, I'm very supportive of them because they did what we needed to do in the summer. We didn't necessarily get everybody that we wanted, but we got players that we needed. You know, we needed central midfielders. You know, we needed a left back, even though it's a right back and one who's injury prone, but we still got them. And we did get a right back. Yes, the right back didn't turn out to be fantastic attitude wise, but we did get the players that we needed. The 49ers can only do so much if they don't turn out to be the players that we think that they are. So I do think they know what we need. And I think potentially because Farke is so stubborn and plays the same people, it is really highlighting that he doesn't have 100% confidence in the players on the bench, regardless of what people say. If he did, he would have brought Archie Gray off yesterday because he was getting battered the whole game. They were just leaving things in on him. And I'm not saying that because he wasn't playing well. I'm just saying that for the protection of him. I
don't think he needed to come off, Evie. I don't think he needed to come off.
He was getting battered. In
what respect?
Though. They were just every tackle that they were going in on, they were leaving stuff on him. And the fact that when Rodon went down off the ball as well, like everybody around us was saying like, oh shit, kind of thing, because he, out of the entire back four, he for me is the biggest worry. If he is out, we do not have somebody who can do what he does.
No,
You know,
okay.
Shackleton
For me, that's the
can,
whole team. That's the whole team.
Yeah.
He's the one player that I'm worried about because to me he's irreplaceable. Anyone else, we've got people that can cover. He's the one guy.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah. Good. Cool. Oscar, are you with us?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you all right.
I've sacked off. I've subbed off the old setup at half time. Yeah, not good enough first half. Poor first half. Not sticking with it. It's off. Standards are higher. How are we anyway?
Yeah, all good, mate. All good. I'll ask you. It's the third time now. Third time is a charm.
Go for it.
I won't ask you that same question. I'm just going to ask you about the state of the squad. We're basically saying there, listen, I don't think we need players in before Saturday because we'd have made changes anyway. I think, you don't. The only way Archie plays is if he was going to play him in midfield because I think Shackleton will start at right back. You might see Creswell. He might have to call upon Creswell if Roden is a little bit of a knock, but I do think Farke's principles are a little bit higher where he'll go. I'd rather go with a Hjelde over a Creswell because of his behaviour. That's, I think, how Farke is. But do you think where do you think we need additions, Oscar, and how many do you think we'll get?
I think we need one or two. I think certainly I was looking at Ben Godfrey was one where I thought when I first saw that link, I thought, oh, that suits us perfectly. The fact he's cover at the back, he can play right back, he can play left back, he's used to the Farke system, championship experience, another physical player. I think we are, bringing in, athletes and a lot of athleticism into the team, and I think he would have, fitted the bill quite well. It's probably not going to be Ben Godfrey. I mean, if David Ornstein's saying it's not happening, it's not happening.
That's what I mean. Yeah, it's not.
But yeah, that's certainly one of them. Just a bit more depth at the back. I think the thing I'd say is I don't think it's so much starting 11 players that we need. I think it's depth that we need more than anything. I think the starting 11, it's difficult to see unless we're able to bring in.
Do you even think that right back then? Do you just that?
Yeah, I think Archie. I could have no question about Archie. I think in terms of what Farke wants in this system, someone who can drop into midfield, can push on to fullback, can play everywhere. I think Archie fits the bill, but I wouldn't mind some depth to Archie. Don't get me wrong. A natural right back would be nice as well. But yeah, just some bodies in the building would be good, and possibly maybe looking at the 10 position as well, just a bit of backup to Jorginho. Because if Rutter did get injured, I think Rodon is the one player in the squad who is irreplaceable in terms of influence. I think even Somerville, you can just about get away with. Obviously, we'd drop off a little bit if Somerville got injured. But I think Rodon and possibly Rutter are the two I look at and think, we've got no one who fits a similar kind of style, who can just slot into the team and do what they do. So, yeah, I wouldn't mind a bit of depth in those two areas. Someone who can play anywhere across the back four, preferably on the right-hand side, and just some options in the 10. I think obviously it's been mentioned of people like Elias Chair, but they're not going to come to Leeds. They're not going to be guaranteed starts. So we've got to be quite clever with that kind of signing. I think Calvin Ramsey got mentioned. He'd fit the bill for me. He's not going to demand starts, but he's a good option to have in the squad potentially. I think, if Trent Alexander-Arnold hadn't have got injured, I think Conor Bradley could have quite possibly been one who would have ended up being on our radar. But it is what it is. But yeah, I think just add a bit of depth. So we've got cover for injuries, cover for fatigue, cover for suspensions, and I think we're good to go, to be honest with you. I really do think top two. You asked me before about top two. Yeah. The other teams will drop points. We'll drop points as well. But you don't want anyone managing this team more than Farke at this level. In this scenario where we're chasing the other teams in this position, in this time of the season, Daniel Farke is the man you want in that role.
Yeah. And you know what, as well, because I was watching you on debrief earlier on, and someone put a crazy question about Bielsa and saying people are not making this comparison with Bielsa, and it is like chalk and cheese. And I can't remember what Gabe said now, but we do have to remember, as good as Bielsa was, and I have a tattoo with the man on myself, right? But Daniel Farke beat him to promotion. So that just tells you how good Farke is, that he still won that race out. So you can't discount, at this level at least, how good he is. And I just think, we've been clear, we need this, we want changes, we need this. It almost feels like he's just building it up into this crescendo. And he said, 10 games to go, then I'll look at the table. You know, April, then I'll look at the table. And I almost feel at that point, like, we're like, fucking hell, we're going to catch Leicester here, man. What's going on? And there I am getting ahead of myself. But you know what I mean? Kev, how many players do you think we'll get? Because there's a lot of Leeds fans in meltdown. Because I don't even think... Okay, conversations may have gone on with Godfrey. But like as soon as then Fabrizio Romano says, oh, Genoa want him, and many clubs, no mention of Leeds. Now Ornstein's come out and said exactly the same today. So like Oscar said, if them two are saying it, you can almost say, right, okay, that deal's done because they're the top two. But like then the whole fan base goes into a meltdown because we don't get him when it's like, well, maybe it weren't even realistic in the first place. So what we having a meltdown for? It's like the Ryan Giles stuff and that. I get it. I do get it in a sense, but I'm a bit like Evie in terms of because the 49ers did what they did in the summer, I'm willing to give them time. And I do believe Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is when we'll really see some movement. I don't know. How are you feel, or do you think we'll be done?
I think we'll probably bring in a couple of fullbacks and ideally a 10. If we're only going to bring in one player and it was going to be Ben Godfrey, I'd take that all day for this transfer window, definitely, because he's perfect for what we need. But, I mean, we've still got players that are not playing much, that are good players for this level. We've still got Nonto, we've still got Perot that's not getting in the side. Jaden Anthony's a good player for this level. So I think if we got two fullbacks, and I think that would be fine then. It's just getting players to come and play for Leeds when they're not guaranteed game time. Yeah, that's the hard thing right now because everybody's playing well. We're on a great run. We're not conceding goals. Why would you want to change it unless there's injuries? Really?
Yeah. No, you're right. It is. It's so tough, isn't it? It is so tough saying to someone, "Yeah, come in." The only way. See, I think for me, Godfrey, if he came, he would start. Yeah. You know, because it's a player of that level, and I do think. As good as Archie's been, he would come in at right back. I genuinely believe that, and I know that might sound mad because you know I love Archie, but I just think he's a player that takes it up a notch, if you like, and then Archie can be used, you know, for Kamara in midfield potentially. But
that's not the worst thing in the world, though, is it?
No, not at all. Yeah, no, exactly. No, you agree?
I don't think Firpo would guarantee a player starts. So any player, I don't think he would. I just don't think that's in his makeup.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. I think that's
and
fair.
That will put some off.
Yeah. Well, look, that's why we don't get Carvalho. That's why we potentially might not get Giles. I don't know if that deal's been confirmed yet to Hull, but it looks like it's very close, doesn't it? So, Jay, what do you think we'll get any? Because I know some don't think we will, think we're done now, but I can't see it. They will not go through. This group, 49ers, will not go through. They're not Rads, they're not Orta. They will not go through a transfer window being two players weaker. They wanted to improve the squad. We've lost Galen, we've lost Spence. They will improve on it. Sure.
Yeah, I think they will. What you got to remember with the 49ers is they had a lot of people pulled out when we got relegated. There's no reason to believe a lot of them people aren't just waiting in the wings for us to go back up, and there's money waiting to come in. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? There's people saying, come back to us when you're back in Premier League. So they're going to be looking at their investment. They're going to be looking at what they get from us going up. And that means that they improve us on the field because that's beneficial to them in their bottom line. That gets more investors back in. And people say, oh, it's crap being owned by an investment group, blah, blah, blah. Hey, they want you to be successful because they don't make out if you're not. And they've shown so far that they do business properly and they get deals done and you don't know they're coming until the last minute. And I'm all right with that as long as someone comes in. But it's probably 1st January in probably 20 years where I've kind of been like, yeah, well, if no one does, then we'll manage. It's not ideal, but I'm not worried. I'm not worried.
No, exactly.
And on the thing about people getting game time, I'm like, well, if you're that good, then you should be able to back yourself to fight your way to a team. You shouldn't expect someone to put it on a plate and say, oh, yeah, you'll start just because you played in Premier League. Fair. Sorry, mate. If you're coming to us as a Premier League player, then you're trying to rebuild your career or restart your career or whatever. You are looking to kick on. So you should back yourself to get into a side.
Yeah, I think, do you know what definitely. As well? Oscar, for me, there's only been one player that's took his chance when called upon, and that was Gruyev. Outside of that, no Leeds United player that's come off the bench or has come in for someone who's been injured has really took their chance for me. I don't know if you agree on that. Who else? Nomto's not really. Jaden Anthony showed little bits here and there, but outside of that, no. Yeah,
that's all it's
just
been
glimpses.
so far.
Yeah.
But
Griev's been phenomenal.
Ben Godfrey is. I mean, I'm not having that Ben Godfrey should be walking into a top-end championship team. He's good, but he's not Paolo Maldini, is he? At the end of the day, he can't just be expecting to.
Mate, you compared Cooper to Baresi once. Let's not forget
that. Back in the day, it's a legendary moment. That is one for the originals. That one. But no, I don't think anyone should be walking straight into the tean at all. The fact that Perot is now, he's on the bench. He's not getting anywhere near the team. And it costs 10 million. So I don't think anyone is guaranteed of a start, no matter who they are in this Leeds team. I think any slight bit of ill discipline, I think they're out the team. It doesn't matter who it is. I think the standards are set.
And I like that.
Yeah.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Absolutely.
I agree.
You don't know as well, if you're getting someone like Godfrey or whatever, you don't know that they're not on a Dele Alli style downward spiral. You can't be guaranteeing game time, then they come in and they turn out to be crap because the career's going down pan. Do you know what I mean? Look at Spence. He's got all the ability in the world, but his attitude's wrong. So it doesn't matter how good you are if you're not right, if you don't fit.
No.
He started one game for Everton all season, and I'm not being funny. Everton have not exactly been brilliant this year, have they? So, you're looking at if Seamus Coleman at 38 or whatever he is starting games ahead again.
No, that's a great point. Yeah, and I think
Coleman scored that goal from the wing.
Yes.
Arsenal.
Big up Melier, my number one. What I will say though, there is that thing as well of a player having to get up to speed as well, having to get up to the level, and a lot of players that we may look to bring in loan the reason you're bringing them in loan is because they haven't fucking played. So then they've got to get up to Farke's fitness levels, because it has been said, and when we spoke to the Norwich fan before, sometimes they do in pre-season triple sessions and stuff. Farke's a real stickler for fitness, and we've seen that, hence why we do see the same 11 a lot of the time. They did look yesterday like bloody hell, they look out on the feet, but they played 2 games in quick succession. But obviously Plymouth at the weekend, I think he'll make quite a lot of changes, if I'm honest. I think we might see Joseph. Go on, Evie, I can see you dying to say something.
Is Connor Roberts still available?
Yeah,
well, I would go for him simply for that reason. He's got minutes in his legs. He's got I think it's 900 minutes or something in his legs now, whereas what's his face, Godfrey has only got.
That's a bit precise, Evie.
91. I was having a look earlier because somebody was having an argument, and I was just sat there eating my popcorn watching it, and I wasn't involved in it, so it was quite refreshing.
It's entertaining when it's other people.
Well, exactly. But I just thought somebody like him that's not gonna he's not gonna be fussed. No, did we really want Kamara in the summer? Were we all jumping over Kamara in the summer? And the thing is he's been brilliant for us. All these signings, which is what I've said about the summer, is they weren't necessarily what we wanted, but they were what we've needed. And I think Connor Roberts could be that signing of not somebody who we necessarily are going all giddy for, but he could really do a job. And when you welcome in a player like that into a team who are already so united, then they're going to perform well. He's got minutes in his legs. He'll come into a really good atmosphere as well, because there's a
he's Welsh.
He's Welsh, exactly, and he'll never get injured because he's tough and Welsh. So
exactly.
We've gone from USA to Wales, haven't we? And I'm all for it.
Wales every day. I dislike all Americans except Gabe. I'm joking. I'm only joking. I just like winding them up because they really get angry at me. So
they bite like no one else.
I know, like they do. I cannot wait for Jesse to get a new job though, because I'm officially starting hate alongs, and I'll be watching games.
And you can have a sack countdown.
and I will be supporting every single team that he goes up against.
God.
So,
we're at 5 games now on the sack counter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right. Let's just quickly go around. We're coming up towards an hour. I don't want to keep this all night. Jay, do we win at the weekend against Plymouth and progress to the 5th round of the FA Cup?
It's going to be a very changed side, but I'm going to say yeah. Screw it. Yeah. We're on a cup roll for a change. Let's go 2-0.
2-0. I'm going to try ask a different question each time I go. Oscar, are we top 2 next Friday against Bristol City?
Yeah, let's go for it. Yeah, we are.
Yeah. And what score do we beat them at their place?
Psychologically, we can get that blow. First chance of the season we've had to land that blow of actually going above the other two. We'll take it. I do think we'll take it, to be honest.
Yeah. Give me a score prediction.
For Plymouth or Bristol?
Bristol, sorry.
Bristol. 2-0. 2-0 Leeds.
Take it. Nice.
Joe Rowlands gets first goal for Leeds.
Love that. Actually, me and Danny Mountain were talking about Archie getting his first goal and what we would do. And I said, I think I might helicopter. And he did respond, right? I didn't know what it was because he's ex-army, and he went, I'll do it with you and we'll be a Chinook. Is that?
Yeah, that's the one with a propeller at each end.
With the 2 propellers. So, yeah, you might have that forward.
I actually flew in those when I went and worked in Afghanistan. They were pretty cool.
Oh, there you go.
They're like the noisiest thing you could ever imagine when you're inside one. You can't hear a thing. And
that's what it'd be like for the neighbours, and that me and Danny were doing it as well.
Your neighbours won't be comfortable either, mate.
Kev, how many players do we get in?
2. I
2.
think 2,
right.
Yeah.
Okay. And Evie, I'm just going to give you the final word and we're going to end it there. So what's the final word on today's episode?
That we go on a cup run, we get promoted, win the FA Cup. Luke Ayling gets an FA Cup medal as well.
That was final words, but I'll let you have it. It's fine.
I'm female. I don't keep it to just one word.
Yeah, I love that.
If I kept it to just one word, it'd be a word you didn't understand.
I love that.
Nice.
Final word is this. Love that. Listen, folks, thanks as always for watching. Make sure you check out Oscar at All Leeds TV or check him earlier on the debrief. Make sure you check out Jay Ought Know Better. I do believe they have done their Berardi and Coke episode, so go and watch that as well if you want some more.
It was the main pod tonight.
Oh, main pod. My apologies. I do apologise.
In fact, no, it was Berardi and Coke, mate. Ignore me.
Yeah.
I
was going to say I did think it was, mate, but who am I to question a guy that actually worked?
Ignore me. I were meant to be on it, and I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. You get back to sorting that woman's pies out, mate.
That's where I'm going.
Kev, you did an instant match reaction on Leeds House, didn't you? So everyone needs to go and check that out.
Yes, it was pretty good.
Yeah, no, it was.
Very funny.
Yeah, watch it. Yeah, very funny. As always is the case when them lads get together. And Evie, channel coming soon, potentially. So watch out for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Discourse of a Peacock. We need more females in the space, so get amongst it. And I'll probably see you tomorrow at some point. Presser reaction, actually 1:30 presser, so we'll find out about these injuries, folks. So I'll probably see you then. And yeah, we'll see you in a bit. Thank you.